Yes. As this is our first demo, let me just introduce myself. Okay. So basically, I'm Divya. I have about 8+ years of experience into data analytics. So currently, I'm working as a senior data analyst, and one of them is in Hyderabad. I completed my master's in data science, and I have experience in teaching all the data science subjects like SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Python, statistics, and machine learning. Okay, so this is about me, and as this is our MySQL demo, let I will explain you the course contents and I'll give you the introduction of SQL. So before that, could you please tell me a little bit about yourself? Like,
Uh, yeah, sure. Actually, currently I have MBA degree, and currently I'm working in a IT company.
okay,
But I am not so good in technical,
okay.
so I want to grow my technical knowledge.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah,
Because as we know, SQL is a kind of, it is a backbone for complete IT industry. Whether you, yeah,
yeah. I know that.
yeah.
So I just am going. I just am starting from basic.
True, true.
Honestly, I'm telling you.
No, no, I know, because most of the actually every time that will be my, in every batch, I'll get some mixed students. I will get already working professionals who is having so many years of experience, but they might work on some projects and they will forget about the SQL basics. And everyone wanted to again someone wanted to brush up their skills and someone wanted to upskill themselves, and someone actually they will just try to transit from any other non-IT to IT candidate and IT up. In that transition also everyone needed SQL first of all,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously my course content is designed in such a way that we will discuss everything from scratch, okay, to the advanced concepts. So
Okay, okay. Good
and
to know.
yeah, and the most important thing here is in SQL we need to learn everything very practically, right? So then only we can able to do all the queries. We need to write all the queries, right?
Oh,
Again, in that process, I personally what I will do, I'll just use one real-time database to explain each and every concepts here. Okay,
okay, okay.
so
Sure.
because normally if we are using normal tables with 4 or 5 rows, it won't work, right? In real time, we will deal with big data. So for that reason, we will just take one real time project that is again some sample projects only, which we will get in real times, but that will be some big data. So if we learn on that, if we practice on that kind of real time databases, we will understand each concepts and we will actually get some hands-on experience on dealing with the data. That is the concept here.
Okay.
Yeah, let me first show you the course content, then I'll just give you the introduction of what is what is SQL and what is database, everything. Okay, so you
Yeah.
can see here first introduction of databases and SQL, then limitations of Excel. Next,
Okay.
creation of database and tables. This has all the basic concepts only.
Okay.
Next, I'll show you once we are done with demo classes. I will show you SQL, MySQL installation. Okay, going
Okay.
forward, just in today's intro, I'll say you the difference between SQL and MySQL. Everything we will discuss, of course.
Okay.
Next, data types in SQL. SQL commands or sub-languages. We will have some sub-languages in SQL. In each and every sub-language, we will have some commands. Okay, so we will learn everything detailedly. Next, integrity constraints. These are some basic concepts. Till here, I will use some basic tables like maybe employees table, students table, so that you can understand very clearly. Once we are done with this, I will give you our real-time live project. That is it is a kind of movies database or OTT platforms database. I mean that is same actually. We can consider that as a normal movies database or else anything like some kind of Netflix database. So I'll give you that database. I'll explain the database first, and we will start understanding about the main concepts from here. That is clauses and operators. Next concept, we are having some important clause. We are having some clauses in SQL like where clause, order by clause, distinct clause, limit clause, group by clause, having clause, like that. We will discuss along with that clauses. We will use operators also parallelly. For that reason, this concept is we will discuss parallelly some operators and some clauses here. Okay, Next, functions. We are having this many functions, and each and every type, like in numerical functions, we are have some functions. Some kind of functions are divided into numerical, character, date, like that. We are having so many functions in SQL, but the types of functions are four types. Like that, we will deal with functions. Then, very important concept, that is joins.
Okay.
Okay, in SQL, joins are very important. Mostly in any domain, also we will work on joins a lot. So, how many joins are there? Each and every join we will discuss along with the examples. Again, each and every concept I will explain along with examples only, but especially for joins concept, along with the examples, I will discuss a lot of examples. Along with that, I'll give some practice questions for you so that you can check whether you can able to solve this joins concept or not, because as this is the most important concept of SQL.
Okay.
Next, regular expressions. Here we'll have one more operator called as like operator. Basically, we will use this like operator to fetch the data, something like pattern matching. If we wanted to match some patterns of the data, if we wanted to particularly fetch any data with some particular pattern, we will use like operator. We are having some wildcards in it. We will discuss detailedly. Now at this point of time, I don't uh, talk much technically. So that is about like operator. Again, we'll have something called as regular expression. This is also used for pattern matching of the data. Okay, so this is again
Okay.
important topic in advanced topic. So we will discuss how many anchors are there in it, how by using all the anchors, how we will basically fetch the data by pattern matching. Okay, next, group by
Okay.
clause, having clause, aggregate functions inside group by clause.
Okay.
These two are also clauses only, but we need to understand joins concept first. Then that is the reason I wrote these concepts here. I mean, these clauses here. Basically, basic clauses are will be covered at this point of time. After joins, we can understand group by clause and having clause. Okay.
Okay.
Next, subqueries. We are having two types of subqueries. We will discuss each and every concept, of course, with examples only. Next, normalizations. How we will convert denormalized data into normalization. By in converting process, we need to we'll have some normal forms here. So basically, by using each normal form, how we will convert a denormalized data into normalization. That is one particular concept. Next, ER diagrams, views, indexes, temporary tables, CTE. CTEs is nothing but common table expression actually. So that is again an advanced concept. We will learn at that time only. Next, stored procedures and especially Windows function. I will cover Windows functions also, most important concepts, especially for interview process. Mostly in every whatever role we are applying for, if you are attending any SQL interview, we can definitely expect about window functions. So we will discuss about that also detailedly. At the end, we will discuss some interview questions.
Okay. So currently I'm joining through my phone, so I need to open laptop, right?
Now not needed actually. You can just listen. Okay.
Okay.
Daily also, if it is okay for you to listen in your phone, that is okay. But basically, I will explain you everything in your free time. You can just practice. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And once you get registered, the concept will be like, you will get access for our videos, daily videos, whatever I'm explaining. If you miss any class, also you can watch the video, and for practice purpose also, you can just watch that videos, and you will get the access of that videos till 6 months from the date of your registration. Till 6 months you
Oh,
can access that videos. Along with that, I'll provide you the notes. Like this, I
okay.
will give you the notes materials.
Okay. Okay.
And basically, what I will do personally, in the sense, instead of giving some random theory notes, I'll just directly give you the SQL files like this. In
Okay.
that only, I'll just mention all the theory part and syntaxes. Okay,
Okay.
everything, whatever it is. If I wanted to write any notes like this in between, I will write here only. That is in one go, in one file, you can able to see everything, right? Theory notes and syntaxes, everything. You will just you can save these files, right?
Okay.
So like that, I will just give all the notes like this only. I'll just, if for each and every topic, once we are done with each and every topic, I will just give you the notes, SQL files only as a notes.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Perfect. So this is about this. So let's directly start. Okay. So now let's just start our first basic understanding about what is data, what is database, like that. Okay. So we know obviously we data is so important nowadays, right? The data
Yeah,
generation is increased a lot. As how much as data generation is increased, that much is of importance is there for the databases, correct?
correct.
Obviously, database is nothing but the place where we will store the data, or else I can say technical definition is collection of data, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Collectively, if we store our data in one particular thing, that is called as database,
yeah.
right? So, collection of data is database, and uh, now let's try to understand what is SQL. Okay, before trying to explain you technically, once let me just give you one example so that with that small example you can clearly understand what is database and what is SQL. Okay,
Okay,
so suppose imagine that I'm having we are just talking about any school or college. Okay, suppose in one school they are having two sections, maybe 10th A and 10th B, something like that. I'm talking about 10th A class. Okay, so in
okay.
this class, we know in our school days or whatever it is, they used to maintain some registers, right?
Yeah, it's records.
Records. So in that registers, maybe here also, maybe there is one class and they are maintaining some registers. In that registers, they are entering or storing some student details, like student ID card, I mean student roll number, or like student ID. Okay,
Yeah.
and student name, and maybe about students attendance or marks. Just imagine like that, they're just,
Mm.
if previously maybe at least we will have some attendance or notes, attendance register kind of thing, right? So everything is recorded in a form previously. Just imagine years ago, we are talking about some years ago scenario. They are just maintaining one book as a register and they are writing everything manually. Okay, so at that time, suppose if anyone, if the head of the head of the school or principal, whenever he wants, suppose he wanted to see the performance of a student, and what he did, he called his peon. Okay, he
Yeah,
called his peon or attendant and he asked his peon to go to the school and to go to that class and bring that register to him. Then the peon went to the class, he took the register and he gave back to the principal. So that by seeing that register, principal can understand about their students' attendance or marks, whatever it is, whatever he wanted to analyze, he can analyze by seeing this book. Okay. Now, if the let's talk about if this is a big what we call any university, or if
yeah.
this is anything large, if it is only some records, we can store it manually. Okay,
Okay.
previously some years ago they used to store it in the books. If let's imagine if they store the same data in the form of computers. Sorry. So if it is computers, now what it will happen, if it is small data, we can even store it in the Excel files, right? Excel files
Yeah,
or text files, we can do that. But we
yeah.
have some limitations with the Excel file, that is we can store up to some records of data only. So again, if not small data, if we are thinking about any big university, so much of students are, so many students are there, so much of data is there. If so, at that point of time, instead of Excel, they are storing everything in the form of databases. Okay.
Okay.
So obviously all these things are the forms of storing data only, either books, either Excel file. I mean, this is a computer basically. If it is Excel file, also we can store the data in the Excel file also, right?
Yeah.
Likewise, we will have something called as databases where we will store some big data. Okay, so instead of this example, instead of this register example, if they store in this university, if they started storing the data in the database, and if the head of that university or the principal wanted to analyze about their students performance, in the previous scenario, how principal conveyed his message to his peon, he said he wanted to just go and get the register, right? So
Yeah.
whenever he's saying that, he might use some language, maybe English language, maybe Hindi language, some language he might use, then only peon can understand, correct?
Yeah.
To convey his message. At this, in the same way, if the data is stored in the form of databases, whenever someone wanted to analyze, suppose your principal wanted to analyze, so to communicate with the database, as how principal communicated with the peon by using English language, here also to communicate our requirements with the databases, we need to use one language, and that language is called as SQL.
SQL.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
So
clear very.
that is the concept here. Basically, SQL is nothing but that is one language which we will use it to communicate with the databases.
Database. Okay.
Okay, according to our requirements, we need to write something. We will call them as queries basically. Okay, or syntaxes for each and every concept. We will have particular syntaxes. We will see
Mm.
every each of that points technically in detail. But in SQL, we need to write something. We are having so many concepts. So according to our requirements, we will use some syntaxes or we will write some queries, and accordingly we, by using that queries only, we will communicate with the database. Basically, by using SQL, we are communicating with the databases, and whatever requirements are there, we are just writing some concept, we are just using some concepts here, and accordingly we will fetch the data, that is we will display the data however we want to analyze. Here also principal, whatever he wanted to see, he can just go through that data, right? In the same way, by using
Yeah.
SQL, whatever data we want, we can just display that data, we can just analyze that data by using this particular SQL language, that is SQL. Okay,
Okay.
I hope the concept is clear for you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's very clear now. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So SQL is nothing but it is a language,
It's a language.
yeah, use it to communicate with the database.
Yeah.
Okay, this
Yeah.
is the only, I mean, this is the technical definition of SQL. Actually, we will use
Okay.
SQL to communicate with the database.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is about the database is nothing but collection of data. SQL is nothing but it is a language used to
Language to communicate with database.
communicate with the database. Perfect.
Okay.
So this is about this thing. Next, again, full form of SQL, as we know, structured query language.
Yeah.
I'm just writing like this. So actually, as I'm saying, this is one language. Okay, this is one universal declared language. Just to maintain the databases, we need to know one language. We need to use one language, that is SQL. Okay, within
Yeah.
SQL, we are having so many tools in the market. Okay,
Okay.
like something like if it is Oracle SQL,
Oracle.
next MySQL,
Yeah.
SQL Server, like that we are having so many tools like postgres like that, so many tools we are having. These are just a tools which we will use to use the SQL is one particular language, the concepts will be same, everything will be same, but these are some different tools which we
Okay.
will use to communicate with the database. Again, these are some different
Okay.
products from different companies available in the market.
Companies.
Oracle SQL and MySQL is a product from Oracle. like that. SQL Server is a
Okay.
product from Microsoft. Like that, we are having some companies, whatever have we are having in the market. Each companies are releasing their own products, and I mean, usually in IT also, to maintain the databases, normally companies can use any of these tools. Again, it's up to them, but the concepts will be same. The language which we will use and the concepts which we will learn will be the same.
Yeah.
The tools may be different. There will be very slight differences between these tools, that is negligible.
Oh,
If you can learn one tool, you can understand how to deal with the another tool, uh,
okay. They
like
all
that.
work similar mostly.
Yeah, all 99% the syntaxes will be same. The
Okay.
previously we used to have very slight differences. Going forward, I will explain you. Suppose in some commands, if today also we are having some differences, will slight differences between some commands, I will explain at that particular time. Especially
Oh,
this MySQL and SQL Server, these three. Okay, and remaining, like that, we are having some tools. Basically, again. Mm, so here I said in databases we will store the data, right?
okay.
So to store the data, first we will create tables. Okay, inside databases we will create tables, and inside tables we will store the data. Okay,
Data. Right.
so all the data will be stored in the form of tables only in the SQL. Okay, suppose for
Okay.
example, I'm just I wanted to store any employees data. So suppose employees will be my table name. Okay,
Mm,
employee ID will be my column name. Next, I wanted to store employee name,
mm,
salary, maybe date of joining, like this.
mm.
These details I wanted to store. Okay, now let me enter some data. One, I'm giving some random data like this. Okay, so basically this will be my table name, employees will be my table name. Okay, and as I said, inside database first we will create tables. So we will create tables in the form of rows and columns,
Column.
right? And inside that, basically inside tables we will insert the data, and but the tables will be in the form of rows and columns. Okay, so here
Okay.
horizontal part is called as row, vertical part is called as column.
Column.
Okay,
Yeah.
as we know. So here obviously employee ID will be one column, employee name will be one column, like that. Salary is one column, date of joining will be one column, right? And
Yeah.
this is my first row of data. This is my second row of data, like that,
Yeah.
right? So this is a table, and inside we will store the data like this. Okay, and I'm saying that in databases we will create tables only, and we will store the data in the form of tables only. Okay, and if
Okay.
we are creating some relationships, basically we are having some concept called as RDBMS. That
Yeah.
means relational database management system. DBMS is nothing but database management system. That is
Yeah.
something which we will just to maintain the database, we will call it as whatever we are using, that entire system we will call it as DBMS. That is nothing but again the same concepts which we are going to learn in here. Okay, so again, there is one something called as a relational database management system, RDBMS. That means if we are storing data in the form of tables in databases, obviously we will store data in the form of tables only. Okay. If our
Okay.
tables will be related with each other, then we will call it as RDBMS. That is relational database management system. So here
Okay.
all our tables will be related with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So going forward, I will just give you our real time data, right? At that time also you can observe. We will have so many tables there. Okay, like this. for each and every table, customer table, film table, like that, for each and every table definitely there will be some relation. Okay. Likewise, in complete SQL, is that, so in SQL, whatever we are, whatever database it is, inside the database all the tables will be definitely related to each other. Okay. If it
Okay.
is related to each other only, we will call it as RDBMS.
RDBMS.
Okay. And if it is RDBMS only, if the database is of RDBMS only, we will use SQL as a language.
Okay.
Okay. Again, there is something called as NoSQL. You might heard this term.
Uh,
This
yeah.
is actually not that useful, but just for understanding purpose I'm saying, we have SQL and NoSQL. NoSQL in the sense, in that we will store the data maybe in the form of tables, but the tables will not
Not
be related to each
related.
other. Okay.
Yeah.
At that time that is completely different. So if the tables are related to each other only, we will call that as RDBMS, and at that time only we will use SQL as a language.
Okay.
For knowledge purpose, and I'm explaining these points,
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
no
yeah.
need of even thinking about this particular NoSQL. Okay.
Okay.
So in NoSQL we'll have one tool called as MongoDB.
Okay.
MongoDB is one tool. However, we are using MySQL and SQL Server all in SQL. For NoSQL, we will use MongoDB. Nowadays, it is not that in demand, because they are facing so many issues with this NoSQL. So that is why MongoDB also, it is just losing its demand because of this thing. So you can just ignore this. Okay, just for knowledge purpose, I'm explaining you.
Yeah, yeah.
So now this is about the introduction of SQL, and I think you got an idea about what is database, what is SQL, like that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect. Now let's see directly the user interface of MySQL. Okay, I'll just close this everything. So once we are done with demo classes, I will show you the installation process of SQL. And Amrita, I forgot to say first thing. For now, only maybe for 1 week, our class timings will be from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST. Then after 1 week, the timings will be from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. IST. Is that fine for you?
8. Yeah.
8 p.m. Yeah, actually, I started one more batch 1 week before. So this is a kind of
So
add-on batch.
today I think I'm a single here, but maybe there are other person also,
Yeah,
right?
we already have some students there. So this is a kind of add-on batch. After 1 week, we will just club those two batches.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, we're already having 5 6 students there. So
Okay.
within 1 week, it may take 1 week of time to balance the topics. Then we will just this is a kind of add-on batch actually. So
Yeah, yeah.
definitely the timing will be from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Okay,
Okay.
perfect. So yeah, now so I'm just opening MySQL.
Okay.
Once we open, obviously I will show you the installation process. Next, after installing, if we open, we can able to see local instance here. We need to
Okay.
click this. Then let me close this files. Okay, then this is the basic user interface of MySQL. This is a workbench. Okay, so here
Okay.
you can see something called as schemas. Okay, schemas is nothing but below schemas you can see the list of databases available here. Okay, I already have so many databases here. Once you install, by default we will have only one database, that is sys database system. Okay, sys database. Once you create any database, you can able to see the databases names like this, the list of the databases. Okay, you can see here the list of the databases below schemas. Schemas in the sense collection of databases only. Okay,
Okay.
so here this is the schemas, we will have all the databases list here. Okay, Next, to open an editor page, to open a SQL file, we will have two options. First, this is completely, we'll call it as menu bar, and this is a toolbar. Okay, to open a new file, either I can just go to file, in file, new query tab. If I'm just clicking on the new query tab also, I can able to get the new SQL file. This is the editor where we will write all our SQL queries. Or else shortcut to open the SQL file is the first icon in the toolbar. If I'm clicking this, I can able to open a new file, file. Okay, anything is fine. So this options, right? This either first icon or else from file, new query tab. If you wanted to close, we can just close like this. Okay, so this is a SQL file, and in this, first basically I will explain you. We are having three options here. I mean, at this point of time I'm explaining you only the important symbols what you wanted to know. Going forward you can understand remaining things. So the first symbol is folder option. So after writing any SQL file, any syntaxes, anything inside a SQL file, to save this file, first we will use the save button. Okay, the second one, save button. Obviously, once I click on this save button, it will just save me, it will just ask me to, I can just able to save that in my system. Okay,
o-
after that, if I wanted to open any file, just like normally, however, we will do in Excels and all, to open any already saved file, I can just click on this folder icon and I can able to open any of this file like this. Okay.
okay.
So to open a new file again, I can just click on this first icon, this one.
Okay.
So like this. So this is save button, this is just opening a folder button. Next, third one is executing. After writing each and every query, we need to execute that, right? So this is that button. To execute, we need to click on this third option.
Okay.
Okay, so like that, this three options are enough for now. And yeah, going forward, we can learn all the remaining things. Okay,
Okay.
so and at the bottom you can see something called as output. This is the output section. Once we executed something, the output will be displayed here at the bottom. Okay, even
o-
I can just here at this part. So now let's just create our first what we call database. Okay, so this is about the user interface of MySQL. Okay, let's create a database now. First, as I said, we need to create the database. Inside the database only we will create the tables, right? So our first step is to creating the database. Okay, again before that, let me tell you some points here. Okay, SQL, okay, is case insensitive. That is, I can use either uppercase or lowercase, no problem, it will work. Okay, first point. Second point, if you can see here, I'm using some symbols like this. That is nothing but comments. In every language, basically any programming language, we will use something called as comments. That means whatever we will write inside comments, that will be not non-executable. If we don't want to execute something, we will just keep comments like this. Okay, so
Okay.
in SQL we will having again, in any programming language we will have either single line comments, okay, and multi-line comments. Single line comments in the sense, you can see each and every line I'm just using comments, that is single line. Multi-line, as a paragraph I wanted to write something and I don't want it to execute, I will call it as multi-line comments, right? So the
Okay.
symbols used for single line comments is hash, two symbols, either single hash I can write like this, or else this two hyphens, whatever I'm writing here,
Okay.
either this I can use, either this I can use like this. Okay, this symbol also will work, this symbol will also will work. Okay, So next, multi-line comments in the sense this symbol like this we need to write. We will write something here. It will work as a multi-line. This is one line, this is one line like that. Next, to close, I
Okay.
need to write star hash like this, forward slash star, and after writing everything to close again we need to use star and hash like this. This is
Hash.
multi-line comments. Okay, this one
Okay.
basically will be common. Multi-line comments almost in all SQL any tools, and maybe in Java also, most of the programming languages, to write multi-line comments we will use like this only. Single line comments may vary depending upon the programming languages. Okay, this is just a sequel, but I'm just explaining you. Basically, this is single line comments, two things. This is multi line comments. Okay,
Okay.
and what next? In SQL, especially in MySQL, semicolon is optional. So maybe this point going forward you will understand in a better way. But for now, just try to understand semicolon is optional in the sense after writing each and every SQL statement at the end, after suppose if I write any syntax here, at the end if I use semicolon, previously what the situation is if it is for Oracle SQL. Again, as I said, Oracle SQL and MySQL is a product from Oracle only. And again, out of all the tools available, why I am teaching MySQL in the sense that is an open source platform. That means that is freely available for everyone. For that reason, most of the companies are using MySQL nowadays. Okay,
Okay.
and previously in Oracle SQL, what is the situation in the sense? After writing each and every syntax we need to use semicolon. If we use semicolon only, SQL will understand that will be the end of that particular statement.
Okay.
Okay, here in MySQL semicolon is optional. If we write also no problem, if we don't write also no problem. Okay, this is just a point, you can ignore this for now. Going forward we will, you can understand about this. Okay, so this is about some basic points before starting explaining, before just we are starting creation of databases. Now that is what I will do actually each and every class. You can see here whenever I'm giving some nodes or whenever I'm giving some examples, I'll use like codes only, because I know that I'm not going to execute this thing, right? That is the reason here also I'm using quotes, and I will write my notes or questions like this. And whatever we will execute, that one I will write like this. Okay, in basically notes I'm saying about.
Okay.
So in real time, what we will do if we don't want to execute something, or else basically in one project, maybe 2-3 persons we will write, right? Suppose I'm working as a SQL developer, I will write some code maybe for other person, or else maybe if I some other, if I get replaced or if I just left my job, obviously if anyone sees my code, they need to understand what I wrote, right? So
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that reasons also we will write some explanation about that particular code in comments. If needed, we will write like that.
Okay.
Okay, that is the reason we will use comments in real time.
Okay.
Okay, okay. So now let's create a database. Creating database. So as I said, for each and everything we will have syntaxes. For creating database, syntax is simple. Create database, database name. Okay, this is our syntax. Syntax is nothing but in SQL we will have some syntaxes. For each and every concept there will be some syntax. We need to follow that. Okay, so this
Okay.
is the syntax. That is, I can say, rule. Okay, we need to use this one to create the database. Technically we will call it as a syntax.
Yeah.
Okay, so now create database, database name, right? So let me give any name. Maybe I'm writing it as SQL 9. Okay, 9 o'clock batch, right? So
Yeah.
SQL 9. For now, I'm just giving the database name like this. Okay, this is
Yeah.
also I'm writing in quotes because this is just a syntax. Okay, and
Okay.
this one now I am going to execute. So I'll just select this, create database name. Very simple. I need to select and then I can execute here, the third icon. If I'm clicking, you can see at the bottom I got my output. Again, if you can see green color tick mark here. If that is like this, it is, we can understand it got executed successfully. If you get any errors, it will just show us red color cross mark, and clearly it will show us what is the error we got. Okay, error
Okay.
message also it will display. Okay, so I created my database now, SQL 9. Okay, so after creating the database, to get this database in this list, I need to refresh this. Here we are having refresh icon, right?
Yeah, okay.
If I'm clicking on this refresh option, you can see now I got my SQL 9 here.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
now we created, no? So just to reflect that in this list, we need to refresh here.
Yeah.
Okay. And in MySQL specially, we will, after creating the database, not only after creating, whenever we are using the databases here, we need to activate the database. Okay,
Okay.
we need to activate the database. That means here in real time we don't do that, but here in a learning process, I'm having, you can see I'm having so many databases here. Okay, so
Yeah.
first I need to activate the database which I wanted to work. Here I want to work on SQL 9 now. So
Okay.
obviously first I want to activate the database, then only SQL will understand I'm going to work on this particular database. Okay,
Okay.
in real time what it happens, obviously we will connect to client's database only, so no need of activating. We will work, we will have only one database there, right? Here as I'm having so many databases here, definitely if I randomly write any query in MySQL, it will throw me error stating, it won't understand, SQL won't understand in which database basically it should execute that particular query. Okay, for that reason we will activate, and to activate the database we will use command. Use this one command, we will use that command to activate the database, and the syntax is use database name. Okay,
Okay.
so how to write this? Use database name is SQL 9, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just selecting this, I'm executing. You can see now my this database got highlighted, right? You can see like dark black color, bold color, right? This particular database is activated now. So
Okay.
whatever syntaxes I'm going to write here, SQL it will just execute it, and it will just stored in this particular database only,
Okay.
like that. Okay.
Okay.
So again, whatever syntaxes we will learn also, if you are completely fresh, completely new to the SQL, no
Yeah.
problem. Actually, you can just, with some practice, you can remember everything. Okay. Whoever, however it is, there is no other option. All the syntaxes we need to remember, or we need to, you know everything.
Okay.
First concept, you need to understand the concepts very well. Then obviously everyone we will perfect, we have to remember the syntaxes. Okay, if we understood the syntax, we can write all the queries easily.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. So first I created the database, then I activated the database. Okay,
Yeah.
now I need to create the tables. Okay, so to create tables we will use create command. Create is
Great.
one command. Obviously we will use that command to create any database objects. Okay, database objects in the sense it can be tables, views, stored procedures, functions, like this. For creating each and everything we will use create command only. Okay, now let's just create a table. So let's create the same table, that is employees table, whatever we wrote here.
Yeah.
So the syntax will be create table,
Table.
table name. After
Okay.
writing table name, I'll use within the brackets, I need to give the column names like column name 1. And after for each and every column name, I need to define the data type. I'll just explain you what is data type. So
Mm.
column name 2, data type, like that how many columns we want, that many columns we can use within the brackets. Okay,
Okay.
that is about the syntax of creation of table, create table syntax. Okay,
Okay.
now we need to understand first what is data.
Basically, syntax is mean you have I have to write the some statement like create. I have to create, then write create table, right?
Yeah, this one, this is called as syntax. Actually, syntax in the sense, uh, definitely for every creation, whenever you want to create the table, this one only you need to follow. Create table, table name you need to write inside column name, like that.
Okay.
Okay, we will
Yeah.
call them as syntaxes. This format only you need to use to create the tables.
Okay.
Okay, that is the concept. So here let's try to understand the concept of data types first. Okay, data
Okay.
type is nothing but, so data types in the sense, for whenever we are writing any data, I mean basically whenever we are storing data in any tables, in any columns, particularly for each and every column we will define a data type. Data type in the sense, that is something which, by using data types only we will understand what kind of value we need to enter in that particular column name. Okay, for
Okay.
example, this is an Excel file. I just wrote the data like this, right? I'm having salary column here. Salary column in the sense, definitely I need to store only numbers here, right? Instead of numbers, if I'm writing anything, Excel is allowing me to do so, right? In Excel, I can write anything, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
This is actually the drawback of Excel, right? This is a limitation of Excel because it is
Yeah.
just allowing me to write anything. It is not
Anything. Yeah.
stopping me, like whenever I'm
Not
writing
giving
any
error.
error, correct? If I'm writing any incorrect data, it is not just giving me any errors
Mm.
like that. In to just overcome this kind of particular drawback in SQL, whenever we are storing the data in the data types, because we will store big data, we will deal with the big data in the data types, right? So in
Yeah.
columns, in tables, whenever we are storing the data, for each and every column we will define a data type. Data type in the sense, by using data type only, I'll just write a definition, use it to define what type of value we can store in that particular, in any particular column.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so here if you can see in this example, obviously I know I need to use numbers only, right? So
Yeah.
like that, in every column we will define some data types. That data types only decide what type of values we need to enter in that particular column.
Okay.
Use it to decide, I can say. Data types is used to decide what type of value or what kind of value we can store in any column. So how many types of data types are available, in the sense, there are numerical data type, okay,
Okay.
character or string data type,
Yeah.
next date and time data type. These three data types are important data types which we will use more frequently. Okay, and let me show you. Okay, SQL data types, numeric data types or numerical data types, character or string data type, date and time data type. These three data types are further divided into this many types. In numeric, we have int and float. Okay, let
Okay.
me write here. In numerical data type, we are having int, float. Int in the sense integers. That means it will store only numbers. Numbers like
Okay.
this 1, 2, 3, like this. Float
Okay.
in the sense it will allow us to store decimal values
Decimal
also.
solo. Okay.
Along with the decimals, it will accept normal numbers also in float.
Okay.
If I use
Okay.
on any particular column, suppose if in salary column, if I use float, I can enter decimal values, even I can enter normal values.
Okay.
Suppose in salary column, if I use float as a data type, I can use 50,000 or else I can use 1.2 lakh, 1.2 in the sense decimal value, right? Like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that is a concept. In floats, it accepts numbers as well as decimals. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
next in this is about numerical data. Next we are having character or string data type. In that we are having two data types, that is char and varchar. Okay. So
Button.
what is char and what is varchar? I will explain you in tomorrow's class. Okay. We need to
Okay.
understand the difference between them. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Next, date and time data type. Obviously, we are having date and date time data type. In date, oh, we can only store a date. In date time, let me just write it here. Here, char and varchar, which I will explain in tomorrow's class. Date and time in the sense date data type. In the date data type in SQL, definitely we need to use this format only. Year for like YYYY, month
Year, month, and date.
and date. Okay, the same format. Next, we are
Okay.
having date time data type. Okay, there
Okay.
we need to use like this: year,
Yeah.
month, date. Next, hour, minutes, second, like this.
Okay.
Okay, it will display like this in date time. Along with the date, it will display time also. Okay, so this is about the data types. So accordingly, whatever, whenever we are defining any columns, we need to use that particular data types. Okay, let's just create some, let's just use create same employees table. So for that, create table employees. You can see here what I did. First, after writing create table, I'm saying table name I need to use brackets. Inside the brackets, I need to write column name and data types. Okay. The same way, here also I'm using create table. Employees is my table name. Within the
Okay.
brackets, I need to use all my column names. What are all the columns I wrote here? Employee ID, employee name, like that. All the columns I need to write. Maybe
Yeah.
employee ID. For employee ID, again, I'm saying we need to define data types here for each and every column.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So for employee ID in the sense, obviously, we know employee IDs maybe it will be in the numbers only, right?
Okay.
So like that, accordingly, we will know what type of data we are going to enter, right? According to that, if it is numbers, we will use integers. If it is characters, we will use char, varchar, like
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So if I know that I'm going to enter numbers here, I'll just use int.
Int.
Then
Okay.
I'll need to keep a comma and the next column name, that is employee name. For employee name, for now I'm just using char as a data type. As I said, in tomorrow's class I will explain you about the difference between char and
Yeah. Yeah.
varchar.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but again, for every character data whatever we are using in this data type, if it is char or varchar,
Yeah.
and whenever we are entering any characters or string, we will define sizes also. That is, for example, in employee name column, if I'm using char as a data type, I need to define size also for this. Suppose if I'm defining the size as 20, that means whatever
Okay.
size we are defining here, that many characters
Characters.
only I can
Not more
enter.
than that.
For yes, not more than that. That many characters only I can enter in that particular column.
Okay.
Okay, basically we are just storing some memory for that particular column name.
Okay.
Okay, so that is a concept. So likewise, for each and every character data or string data, we need to define the size also like this. After writing this within the parenthesis, we need to mention the size. Okay,
Okay.
next column is salary, right? So I'm just writing salary here, column name. And for salary, maybe I'll use float. As I said, for float, it will accept decimal values also, right?
Yeah, right.
Along with the decimals, it will accept normal numbers also. That
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
reason I'm using float.
Okay.
So employee ID, employee name, salary, maybe the last column is date of joining. So for
Yeah.
date of joining, we will use data type as a date data type, right? Just now I said
Mm.
all the date numbers, I mean all the dates, to store the dates, we will use date data type,
Date. Okay. Okay.
right? So like that, whatever columns we are entering in any table, for each and every column according to the data what we will enter, we will just define that particular data types, right?
Yeah.
So this is about the table creation. Now I just select this and I need to execute this. You can see it got executed successfully.
Yeah.
If I write any mistake here, it will just throw me an error stating, syntax error. If I write
Yeah.
any mistake in the syntax, it will show me syntax error. If I write any conceptual wise mistakes, it will just directly explain the error message and we can able to understand what mistake we are done. Okay, just going forward, we will see all those things also very detailed.
Okay.
So this is how we will create the table. Again, once we create the table, just to if we need to refresh here, then
Okay.
we can able to see tables here and we can expand this, and whatever table I just created, I can able to that table I can get here, that will be reflected here, right?
Right.
Employees, and here especially in MySQL, if I'm just clicking here at the bottom, it will show us the complete details of each and every column name and the data types also
Okay.
in this information section.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this is how we will create the data. After creating the data, to enter the after creating the table, to enter the data, obviously we will use insert command. Okay,
Yeah, insert. Yeah.
so insert into, so this is a syntax, insert into table
To
name. I'm directly writing the example here.
employee. Yeah, okay.
So employees. Next, we will need to write one more keyword called as values. Insert into table name. Values is a keyword. After writing values, within the parenthesis, I will give all my values here. Whatever I wrote here, like that. Whatever we wanted to insert, that data we will give here. Suppose 1. For employee ID is 1. Employee name, like this.
Yeah.
Okay, salary, like this. Randomly I'm entering some data,
Okay,
and
okay.
let me enter any date of joining, that is date. As I said, we need to definitely use this format only. First year
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
2021, I'm just writing some data like this. But one thing we need to understand again, for character data and for date data type data, we will use either single quotes or double quotes. Okay, for
Okay.
numbers normally we will give, but for character and date data type we need to
Okay, okay.
write within the quotes.
Okay.
Okay, now I close this brackets, right? So within the parenthesis, whatever I wrote, that will become my first row of data. Okay,
Okay.
here in Excel file we already entered the first row here, right? This is our second row of data. So likewise, after closing the parenthesis, this will be our first row of data. To next enter the second row of data, we need to just separate that with a comma here. Then
Okay.
with again within the parenthesis, we will give second row data here, like this.
Okay.
So this is how we will basically, let me write a date. Okay, we will insert the data within the parenthesis, whatever values we are giving, and we will use commas here to separate the values. That means this is my first column data, second column data, third column data, like this. One,
Okay.
so whatever I wrote inside the parenthesis, that will become my complete row data. This is my first row data, then a separator comma, then a second row data. Okay,
Okay.
that is a concept. Am I clear?
Yeah, yeah. Still.
So yeah, this is about inserting the data first row and second row. So just imagine I'm just inserting two rows of data only. Then
Yeah,
what I'll do, I'll just select everything and I will execute. If I am executing like this,
yeah.
it got executed successfully and the data is inserted. Okay.
Okay.
Now just to display that data whatever we inserted, we need to use select command.
Okay.
Okay, select is one more command. If I write it as select star from table name. Okay,
Okay.
if I
Mm.
write like this and if I execute, I'll get the complete output of whatever we created now in the form of table.
Okay.
Okay, this is the concept. Here asterisk, in the sense we will call technically this as an asterisk or star. That means it will display the complete data. Okay.
Okay.
To see any particular data, we will use column names. Suppose if I write select, instead of displaying the complete data, if I wanted to display the complete data, I will use asterisk here. Select star, asterisk or star from table name, in the sense basically it is used to display everything within the complete table. If I wanted to see any particular column name like employee name and salary, at that time what I'll do, I'll write it as select employee name comma salary from employees. Okay,
Okay.
if I select like this and execute, it will just display me that particular column names here.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how we will use select command to display the data.
Okay.
So this is about how to create the table, how to insert the data, and how to display the data.
Okay.
So I hope I'm clear.
Yeah. Here is we are taking only two employees ID. If there is multiple IDs, then we have to write all, or there is some short.
uh, Actually, it's not like that. If we are working as a developers or in any field, basically we will just start working on the ready-made database only. That is what we are going to do. And going forward, as I said, we will work on real-time database, right? So
Yeah.
in real-time databases, we will just directly get one database like this. In that, we will have all the tables, and in that
Okay.
already the tables are created and the data is inserted. We will start working on that particular data, and whatever concepts I shown you in the starting, the course content, all those concepts we will learn, and that one only we will work on. Okay,
Okay.
being a
Okay.
SQL developers or any other developers. Again, who will create these tables, in the sense data engineers. Obviously, someone should
Okay. Okay.
create these tables,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
that is
right.
the concept of normalizations and denormalizations, which we saw in our course content. I said we will have some normal forms. By using that normal forms, we will see how we will convert this denormalized data into normalized form, right? At that point of time, I will explain everything
Oh,
very
okay.
clearly.
Okay.
Okay,
I can I can ask some silly questions because I don't know.
no problem, no problem. That happens actually.
Mm, yeah,
Okay,
okay.
all right. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me, or else I'll just end the session. Tomorrow, let's continue. And as this is our last demo, just get registered with us. You will just get your mail and all the details will be mentioned in that mail. If you get registered, you will just get a new Zoom link. Please follow that link to attend tomorrow's session.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much.
You're
Yes.
welcome.
Yeah.
All right, okay, then I'm ending the session. Let's meet tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. Night.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.